Hey there, folks. Welcome to another edition of At Ping at the soccer fields again. I'm not some creepy old guy here sitting watching youth soccer. My kids are playing. Let's make sure we got that cleared up. Let's jump into our questions this week. First one comes from somebody named Joe_Sprockets number 1. Joe Sprockets number 1. He's number 1. Says, Ping, with the big four coming from Japan, why don't we see more Japanese riders do well in America? I've never been to Japan, so I don't know what the racing is like there. Seeing Shimoda do so well got me thinking about this. Thanks, Joe Sprockets. I think there's a few reasons, and it's not for lack of trying. There's been a lot of Japanese riders come over. Akira Narita, probably the most memorable one prior to Joe. And dozens of them came over and stayed with Jim Hawley. If you didn't see his episode on the Whiskey Throttle Show, he goes into detail about his program, how he got into helping those Japanese riders. Jim speaks fluent Japanese and has been involved in that for a long, long time. So he's brought a lot of guys over. Why don't they have more success here? I think it's a handful of reasons. No Supercross is the biggest thing. You know, these guys come over here and just get beat up like happens to a lot of other riders. If you came from the GPs or somewhere where there just is no Supercross, it's just a different animal. It's like learning a completely different sport in a way. So that hurts riders a lot. I think the other part of it is bad weather. Man, it's crappy weather over there in Japan, and they've got to either come over here to ride year round, or it's just kind of a struggle. I think that hurts them. Limited tracks, limited space. I mean, if you've never been to Japan, but there's not a lot of room to make new tracks. Any open land they have is spoken for, and they're not real keen on guys going out on dirt bikes and, carving tracks into the hills. So I think the tracks they have are limited in terms of what's open, what's available, what they can do, and then limited competition. You know, it used to be back in the day, they were always bringing American riders over to do that Japanese series. Kyle Lewis, Matasevich, Ron Tishner. There's been a bunch of guys go over there and win Japanese national championships. And I think that helped push those Japanese riders to see like where the bar was. Like, oh, okay, we need to at least be able to beat these guys if we want to go to America and do okay, you know? And at a point, all the manufacturers just stopped doing that. They stopped bringing American riders over, whatever the reason was. But I don't think that's good for them. I think they should bring some over as a benchmark to help their riders advance, my opinion. So I think that's probably it, man. Appreciate your question. Thanks for sending it in. Next one, Ping. You've been lucky to chat with some successful folks on your Whiskey Throttle Show. What are your top 3 most interesting segments? Thanks, Pistol Pete. That's a tough question. We're bumping up on our third season here. We're 90 some episodes by the end of this year. But if I had to just limit to 3, I would say third's a tie between a lot of shows. Mitch's show is great, both of them. DeCoster, Bailey, RJ, Dave Arnold, Rhino. All of those shows had moments in them, like RJ's contract story when Honda signed him. That contract wasn't legit for the first couple days, and the story behind it is hilarious. DeCoster talking about Jeremy's 97 season. Mitch talking about just about anything. Rhino talking about his divorce and kind of when his life got really shaken up. Heavy moments for those guys. Those shows, they were fantastic. My second favorite moment's got to be the Troy Stories show, where Mitch comes on and they start telling stories of those two morons getting hurt back or getting into trouble back in the day. So funny. If you've not watched that episode, go find it, Troy Stories, and just fast forward to the part where Mitch and Troy are talking together. It'd be the funniest thing you've seen in a long time. And I think, if I'm being real honest, my favorite show so far has been the Jet and Hunter Lawrence show we just released. I had no idea what these boys went through, this family went through to get here. I've just liked their vibe and their style and stuff, but man, go listen. They were living in a windowless room above a race shop on lined up hospital beds. Jet was sleeping on top of a pool table for the first couple years over there in Europe. weren't getting paid from teams that they were supposed to get paid from. It's a fascinating story, and if you're not a fan of these guys, you will be by the time it's over. So that's my favorite one, man. It's just an incredible story. Check it out. Thanks, Pistol Pete. I appreciate that. And lastly, we got something coming in here from Big Brup 23. It says, Ping, what advice would you give a rookie doing his first nationals right after Loretta's? Love this new format. Big Brup 23. A few things. I would tell them that try to relax on the weekends and know that the work gets done during the week. That's the hard part. That's when you're making progress towards the weekend. Once you get there, just go out and race. Do this. It's no different than dirt bike races you've been doing your whole life. Don't feel like I've got so much riding on this race, I've got to get results so people see me. They either already are seeing you, or you're going to have plenty of opportunities for them to see you. Go out and just don't worry about results. You know, do that work during the week and then just go enjoy the racing. And then second thing would be perspective. Try to just remember that, like Loretta's, this 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, however many nationals, these aren't going to define you. You know, have some perspective, and it's tough when you're that age. I know that firsthand, but have some perspective on your entire career, not just these couple of races. And lastly, I'd say be a sponge, man. Just when you get to the races on the weekend, watch the top guys, watch the mechanics, the team. Just watch how everyone moves and how the sport works, how the day works. What are those guys that are doing well? What are the routines and habits that they have? Follow their lines. I mean, just really try to absorb as much as you can. And if you get smashed into, just know that's a little, you know, the 8th green or the 9th green at 9 trick, like on Happy Gilmore. That's just a little welcome to the pros thing. Don't get your feelings hurt about that. And just remember, if you work hard and you got the talent, you got a long career in front of you. So don't feel like this race or these handful of races is going to make or break me. Just take your time, do what you've been doing since you were probably a little kid. And that's it. So I appreciate everybody sending it in. Again, I'm going to encourage videos. I like responding to the video questions. So if you think you can pull it, just do it. Appreciate you guys watching. See you next week.